In the beginning of her story, Kia became involved with the Power Rangers team. Despite her troubled past, she has a strong spirit because she overcame it and moved on from her grudges against everyone, including herself. She was a native of the planet Kuja, and regrettably had been cut off from her family on the day that the Morphin Grid bestowed upon her abilities. She developed the ability to shoot out thousands of electrical webs at once. Together with the other Omega Rangers, she became the Blue Omega Ranger and engaged in a variety of missions. But as she gained independence and tried to work against the Omega Rangers' mission, fate had other ideas for her. In a protracted battle that included Dane and Garrison in addition to Kia, she was outclassed at that point and vanquished by the Omega Rangers. To make sure everyone was safe, she and Garrison were imprisoned in pots. But then things took a turn for the worse when Rita Repulsa showed up, releasing Kia from her pot and turning her into the Blue Drakkon Ranger to help Drakkon with his missions. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a very small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Backstory of Kia, Blue Omega Ranger 3. Kia is a member of the Kuja planet. She is an extraterrestrial explorer who has played a significant role in the Omega Rangers' adventure. She used to reside on the planet Kuja with her family. Cello is the younger brother of Kia. Her earliest recollection is of a talk she had with her brother in which she informed her younger brother that the sun was sleeping. Cello shouted at the sun in an effort to get it to wake up, and Kia holds that memory in the highest regard for herself. She also has a tragic and harsh memory of her past, something that changed her life forever. It was one night, she was fast asleep, and she felt that she tasted something weird, tilting more on the side of copper. In less than a minute of her waking up, thousands of spiderwebs of electricity flew out of her. That was new to her, and before she could grasp the moment and the reality of it, she was given another shocker. Her family took the burn of her powers. They were reduced to ash, unfortunately. Kia got a scar on her hand, and it became a constant reminder for her. She also saw the scar as a blessing. An enemy was faced by the Rangers, but they were able to overcome him. The Omega Rangers and the Garrison then engaged in communication. They had been given the mission to travel to Breel and bring the infected people to the safe haven. Kia was seen sitting by herself on the rooftop in a different scene that followed their conversation about their upcoming mission. Trini joined her on the roof and was observing the sky and the area. She inquired about Kia's well-being and whether she was doing all right. She assured Trini that everything was fine and that she was a little depressed. Her mind was congested with memories of her past. She started to recount a story about herself and her brother, including their hilarious moment when he misbehaved in front of the sun. She also related to her the tale of how she became empowered and how she was never allowed to see her relatives again. Trini stood up to go after expressing her sympathy to Kia. The Rangers then fought off some worshippers who were mostly looters and agitators as they arrived at their destination, which was indicated by Z and the emissary. The Rangers had no trouble finishing them off. Subsequently, the Omega Rangers were assigned to attend a party for which they needed to don disguises. Z graciously provided them with dresses to change into, and each person adopted a new avatar. First, as the Rangers repelled the guards, Kia and Trini had a conversation in which Kia praised Trini's posture while wearing enormous heels. They watched as Queen Adriel entered the celebration and informed the guest of Breel's terrible past. Prior to Rita's revolt, they had always been Breel's slaves. Rather than joining them and demonstrating her power, the Queen shockingly poisoned everyone at the party, destroyed a ship, and demanded allegiance. The Rangers experienced fear. In addition, the Queen could recognize Power Rangers in a crowd and could even threaten to bend them. Then, in a different scene, Rangers prepared for a mission while watching TV news and arrived at Battle Dane. They pulled out their blade blasters, but they were ineffective against Dane. That brings the comic issue to an end. How was she imprisoned? Dane makes fun of the Rangers for failing to make it after 5 attempts at the beginning of the story about Kia getting imprisoned. He switches things up with his servants and ends up making fun of them as well. They characterize the Rangers as being extremely strong, and they caution Dane not to underestimate them because of their combined strength. Dogs queries them about the Rangers' prior battle records. Then, Kim and Billy are on a video call with Omega Rangers. Kim requests that they spend a day teleported to Switzerland. Kia isn't there for this call. Later, in an alternate scene, Kia appears and strikes up a conversation with Zach, Jason, and Trini. She makes fun of them for keeping her secret from the other people. Then they make a few corrections, which makes Archon happy. In a conversation with the Omega Rangers, Z informs them of the dangers and difficulties that may arise from this undertaking. According to Kia, there is nothing they can do but prepare for this. Some hesitate a little, but in the end, they agree with Kia. Then, as the Rangers prepare, we see banners featuring the Omega Rangers and Kia's hand, which stands for Omega Water Power. The Omega Rangers exclaim, "Omega now! Omega forever!" At their destination, the Rangers then engage in space combat with some looters. But Z tells them that's not really who they're after. Thus, even though the Rangers perform incredibly well, beating them and winning against them isn't that big of a deal. Then, a terrified local woman accuses Garrison Vox of ruining everything, following which he is attacked by Rangers. Kia checks on Zach after he passes out during the fight. She requests to learn about the War Bunny tale, which the others continue to speak of. The Omega Rangers inform Garrison that their goal is to cooperate with him rather than oppose him. They claim that your powers are a little out of control as a consequence of the Morphin Grid. They want to bring him to the place of safety at the safe haven. Kia then charges in to attack Garrison after he becomes enraged out of nowhere. Trini is called foolish and ridiculed by Garrison for sending Kia a little one at the start of the battle. The Rangers put him in a bottle after Kia punches him into the sea and the Earth's depths. Later in the comic, Kia speaks with the emissary and begs him to be kind to Vox and maybe even give him a chance to improve like Kia did. Kia is rebuffed by Emissary, who informs her that he isn't entirely sure what he thinks at the moment and that the Morphin Grid has caused Garrison to have many changes of heart. After then, Billy and Kim join the rest of the Rangers at the safe haven. The Rangers are told by Archon that Kia appears to have changed her mind. She has been attacking everyone in her path and releasing many of the captured ones from the vault. Reagan is watching every conversation and is present at the scene. He is updating Kia diligently. Kia converses shyly with the Rangers. She tries to calm things down and requests that they go, but the Rangers don't give up. They simply apologize for the outcome and impact it had on everyone in the cosmos. Jokingly, Kia says she can't risk anyone's safety in the universe once more, making fun of Tommy. The other Rangers then join in and start talking down to Kia about how egotistical their actions have become. The Rangers activate their morphers and refuse to submit to her. Then Kia tells Dane and Garrison to go get the Rangers on their own. While handling both attackers, Rangers decide to send in additional Rangers. Tommy then uses every tool in his toolbox to attack Dane after all the Rangers have sent in their weapons. Dane is attacked by a white light ranger and they come into contact. Zach and the Garrison have had a conversation. During the fight, Zach and Trini were out of reach, which made everyone concerned. Dane challenges the Rangers and makes fun of them for failing to stop him. They consist of Dane, Kaboom, and Beta 7. Kia assumes Trini's continuing desire to discuss things with someone. On the other hand, Trini is entirely off topic. She would prefer to call it quits and not try anything more. Then they both advance to strike each other in the head. Dane gives in to the fight, so Kia makes fun of him and tells him to go run and hide. Kia tries to undermine Trini's self-confidence during their argument. She strikes Trini with punches and kicks, proving that even without a Morphin Grid connection, she is still a capable Ranger, a sufficient Ranger to overcome her. However, Trini is in a good mood and refuses to give in to Kia's advances. Kia is finally silenced by Trini, who tells her to stop talking since it's just her scared self attempting to reason. Then, following 3 weeks, we are taken to the scene at the safe haven. Both Kia and Harrison are contained for safety, while the Rangers determine what to do next. Concurrently, Trini makes the decision to speak with Kia. Trini destroyed Kia's morpher in that battle to make sure she would never be a threat again. The Rangers then imprison her in a pot that resembles the dumpster that Zorton had trapped Rita Repulsa in. However, everyone else is safe and free, and no one has any resentment towards anyone. Lord Drakkon recruits his blue Drakkon Ranger. We see Lord Drakkon making his way to the secure storage area for the pots. After the previous deadly battle, the Rangers protect Kia and Garrison's pots. But while everyone else is preoccupied with Mistress Vile's attempt to enter Promethea with a brainwashed Matthew Cook attacking Earth in the guise of the Green Ranger, Lord Drakkon freed her. She is welcomed back to the world of the living by Lord Drakkon. He asks her if she'd be up for taking on the Rangers and saving the planet. After that, there is a fight between Kia and Drakkon. It seems that Drakkon had some responsibility for Kia losing her whole family. She claims, though, that she is no longer her enemy. Drakkon clarifies that he needs Kia's assistance, but because she is no longer connected to the Morphin Grid power, he makes fun of her for not being a worthy opponent. Drakkon notices a similarity between Kia and the cat who received Kia's morpher. He needs Kia's assistance to overcome every obstacle, while Drakkon takes care of the bulk of the labor. How powerful is she? She succeeded in becoming the third Omega Blue Ranger by aiding the Omega Rangers. Her abilities and powers were extraordinary. She had incredible power and control over the water because she was the ocean's blue representative. With water, she could strengthen both her attacks and defenses. The infusion of grid energy into her body was one of the most significant events in her life. She was able to fight off the enemies who were pursuing her with great strength and power thanks to this fusion. One of the most significant instances of the same that I saw was when she almost killed Jason by knocking him down with a crate. Marvelous verdict. Kia has a powerful personality. Her addition to the Rangers is a very special development. She has had her goals and ways of thinking, which are rarely revealed. Her heart, aspirations, and independent nature quickly come to the surface, and she decides to follow her own path and break away from the Omega Rangers team. She showed a great deal of bravery and courage by facing the Rangers. She is aware of their advantages and disadvantages. She occasionally overestimated herself, which ultimately proved fatal. She has chosen to go her own way, assuming and even expecting a friendly approach from other characters, and has taken for granted their cordial treatment of her. She is acting on an egotistical whim, as Trini stated in the issue. She was denied the opportunity to plead for Garrison's safety with the emissary, which was more important to her than safeguarding the world and the real event that started her fight. Had she had faith in the larger good, she would have endeavored to comprehend the way things function and the reasons why this couldn't be accomplished. She attempted to make the entire situation about herself and her goals, though, because she took it a little too personally. That is a flaw in her character because the audience sort of anticipated that. After a few issues, it seemed like she and her values were more important than Dane and Garrison, which is truly demonstrated by their personas when, during the final battle, Dane retreats from the conflict and abandons Kia. She makes fun of him, tells him to go, and then charges in to confront Trini, thinking that Trini might be trying to make things right. She didn't think anyone else, save herself, would be at her absolute maximum power. In contrast to the kind Kia we saw earlier in the comic, these characteristics revealed her to be somewhat of a villainous figure. Another significant factor in the problem is the dynamic between Kia and Trini. Their ups and downs and fascinating chats are noteworthy. In contrast to Kia, Trini is shown to have her own viewpoint and a mindset that prioritizes the safety of the Rangers and the world over all other considerations. Numerous scenes show their differences, as well as the decisions that set them on different paths. And if you like our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.